All right, Anthony. Hey, welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, how are you doing, dude?
Hey, where's your boy at?
Yo, he couldn't make it today. He's wrestling in New Jersey
Really?
at Wildwood.
Really?
Yeah, so
He's too good for me, huh?
I guess so. Uh, I mean, it's not like he's really dissing you or anything. He's going to your home state. He's going back to Jersey.
Sure, I can respect that.
Anthony, what do you love the most about New Jersey? What's the best
Uh,
part about it?
Everything, man. I love. I was actually born in. A lot of people don't know this, but I was born in Long Island, New York. Um,
Hmm.
I lived there till I was about 7, and then my family moved to New Jersey because my dad was a priest and got a job out in New Jersey, so we moved there, away from all my family. But at first I didn't really like it. I missed New York a lot and missed the family out there. But I grew up there and I was raised in Jersey, so I grew accustomed to it and found love for it, for the beaches and the people and the gym and and
The
everything.
chains. You know
Yes,
how it is.
yeah, I
Oh
felt
man.
so. I have a love for both Jersey and New York now.
Was it hard for you to move to Pennsylvania?
Oh
To,
yeah, Pennsylvania is just nothing, especially where
whoa.
Penn State is nothing. Yeah,
There's
and
nothing to do.
we'll drive. I'll drive from Jersey for about 3 hours and see nothing but cornfields and dry land. And, and state. But, yeah,
Hey, that's don't trash it. It's my state too, man.
I mean, if you guys had a beach, it would be okay, but
That's true.
lakes, whatever.
Well, yeah, you can go up to Erie, and I hear that there you can swim and stuff up there during the summertime.
Yeah,
But it doesn't probably doesn't compare to the beach at
yeah.
New Jersey. So hey, how's your shoulder feeling?
Feeling good. It wasn't as bad as I thought, so it's getting better every
Yeah,
week. And um, good thing is I'll be good to go for last chance in the trial. So grateful for that.
that's fantastic. Because I know that I was listening to your podcast with Justin Bosch,
Mm-hmm.
and you were talking like you had just had two shoulder injuries, and they had told you if you have one more, you're done, right?
Yeah.
What was going through your mind when that happened? Um,
I was in shock, really. I just couldn't believe it, but it had been so long since my last one, over 3 years, that both my shoulders were good as new. So it wasn't really, even though it was the same shoulder, that just happened to be um, that one. But I felt like it could have happened to either one. It was just kind of a freak thing.
yeah,
It wasn't really like it was weak at all, and I hadn't had problems with it for years. So it wasn't really in relation to my previous injuries at all. Just kind of like a weird freak thing, and just
Hmm.
it just kind of stunk. And
Yeah, it happens,
yeah, another piece of adversity that I had to work through.
right? Because it didn't look to us like it was that funky of a position.
Yeah,
It just got a little extended on a shot.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. I was just running through a double, and against a big guy, and all his weight went on one part of my shoulder. So
yeah,
yeah, it was just kind of a freak thing.
yeah, really depressing. How did you struggle with that? You know, So you won your national title,
Mhm.
and you're coming back to defend it, and you're on a roll this year, and all of a sudden this a third shoulder injury
Yeah.
in whatever 5 or 6 years,
Mhm.
it takes you out. And I know that, again, referencing the podcast with Justin, is you talked about like how to find God's will
Mhm.
and in this situation. How did you work through this? Again, was it difficult for you?
Yeah, it's always difficult, when you reach something that you go through some adversity or make a mistake or hit an injury or something like that on the road of something that you're chasing that you really have a passion for. It's always going to be difficult in whatever circumstance. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of used to adversity at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and to make it any easier, but I know how to respond to it. And I just go back to my faith and my reliance on God. And it's always a good wake up call to see if my identity is really in Christ. And in being a servant of God, or if I'm putting it too much into other things. So that's always one positive I take out of it, is to kind of resort back and kind of have a clarity moment on my relationship with him. And then from there, I just take whatever lessons I could learn. So I try to, not stabilize myself with why it happened or how, but just kind of look at the simple lessons that I can take from it and use them going forward, because then I could, make it somewhat of a positive. If I can make a mistake or a piece of adversity, factor into why I've achieved something later in life, then I don't really look at it as a negative. And that's what I've been able to do over my wrestling career, and that's what I plan to continue to do with this.
Have you always had that mentality, or when did that specific mentality of being able to give glory to God through adversity and to know where your identity is through adversity? Have you always had that, or when did it develop?
I don't know. I think it was through my first, my first major injury about 5 years ago. I never really experienced something like that. So it was pretty traumatic, and I just went back to what I know and the people I love, and what I know best is my family and my faith. And so I relied on those two things, and that's what got me through it. So if it got me through that, it can get me through, whatever else I experience. And over, the course of the past few years, it's just been more and more of that, and learning how to adjust and stay strong and keep moving forward. So that's what's helped me get through it.
How long were you out after this shoulder injury?
The first one or this one?
Or this one. Are you wrestling again?
Yeah. I'm back on the mat. I'm all good to go. We're pretty much back to normal. Just took about 2 weeks to figure everything out. Went back to Jersey and spent some time with the fam and got all checked up. And then now we're back and rolling. So I'm feeling pretty solid.
That's really good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, has it been any harder throwing dodgeballs?
No, thankfully, I still have my right arm.
Dodgeball game not affected.
Even though I whip dodgeballs with my right hand.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast or not, but man, that one time at the NLWC, I had gotten out at dodgeball. I was sitting on the side. I was talking to my friend Owen, and his face just goes like he gasps. He's like, his face just goes like dead serious. And I like turn a little bit, and just a dodgeball just slams me in the face. I thought I was dead. It hit me so hard. I was not expecting it. I was already out. Yeah, dude, you were throwing it at Jordan Conaway, and he does his little his jump away thing, and it just slammed me in the face.
My fault, bro. It's a dangerous territory out there, and you're not.
It is. I should have been more aware. Well, listen, if I had never gotten out in the first place.
True, but Beau got you out already, so.
Yeah, probably. Man. So you grew up in New Jersey. Well, so you moved from Long Island to New Jersey. When did you first get introduced to the sport of wrestling?
I was about 7 or 8 years old. My dad took my 3 brothers and I to a town meeting. There was no wrestling program in Montgomery, New Jersey. So a couple families and shout out to Coach John Moyle, were trying to start a program up, and they were showing a video of what wrestling was. And my dad looked at us and was like, "Do you guys want to do this?" And he had done it in high school, so he kind of had a background with it. And so I was like, "Yeah." I mean, I just saw one dude pick up another dude and slam him down, and I was
nice.
like, "Yeah." And so I kind of fell in love with it gradually ever since. But yeah, that was the first interaction I had with the sport.
How? So you said you fell in love with it gradually. Was there like a moment in your wrestling career where it like clicked and you're like, I love this? Or was it just kind of a growth?
Yeah, I mean, I was naturally decent at it off the bat, and I kind of kept a similar growth pattern with it for a while. We didn't obviously we didn't have the best training situation starting the program off in the town, so I kind of skill set didn't really improve much, but I enjoyed it throughout the next whatever 7-8 years that I did it. But it wasn't really until after my junior season, after my sophomore season in high school, I started, noticing and being more inclined to it. And then after my junior season, I lost my final match of the season to qualify for the state tournament. And off the mat, for some reason, that was the flip, or the moment that it just switched on for me. And I just realized that I had a pure love for the sport, and that I, had the ability and the potential to be really good at it if I started to dedicate my life to it. So that was after a long time of being introduced to the sport. That was the moment that really, really changed for me.
Really clicked. When did you start having national level aspirations? When did you want to wrestle beyond college?
I didn't really know much in high school about college wrestling in general. I started becoming aware of Penn State and their success and their characteristics, and so I wanted to go there. And then once I got there, my true freshman year, once I committed and acknowledged the fact that I was going to go to Penn State to become a national champ and Olympic champ, and have success in the international level, that was kind of the moment, because I saw guys from Penn State having success on the next level. So I wasn't exactly, sure what that was going to look like, but committing and then showing up that true freshman year was when I started to formulate ideas of what my future wanted to be.
Yeah, I mean, especially at Penn State, you're surrounded by so much greatness, right? There's a lot of really fantastic college wrestlers, but also senior level wrestlers, and being surrounded by all that, I can see how you can, start setting your own goals high, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty special.
Yeah.
So did you play any other sports?
No, my brothers did, but the only other sport I wanted to play was football, and my dad didn't let me play football, so I just stuck with it. Yeah.
That's tough.
I mean, I played a lot of sports, backyard sports, but never really team sports. Yeah.
Yeah, I also have not played football, probably because my dad doesn't want me to either.
Yeah.
But I'm probably not going to be very good at it anyway. So I'll stick with wrestling.
Yeah, singing dodgeball skills maybe.
Oh man. Okay. All right, man. I'm just out of practice. I haven't played a good game of dodgeball in since this summer.
It's about finding the right partner. I didn't really like it until I started getting guys that I could win games with. That's what it's about.
Yeah, you and Beau are like a terror. Hey, let's go on a tangent real quick. Talk about your relationship with Beau Nikhil, because we've had him on the podcast before. I've known him for a little bit. He's a really great guy. How'd you meet Beau? How'd you start talking to him?
Yeah, well, I was listening to the end of the podcast that you guys did with Beau, and it seemed like he was throwing out some false information.
Oh, the one about you never lifting weights?
Yeah, I don't know what he was talking about. I don't do cardio. I do carbs. All I do is lift weights. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I met Beau. He was my roommate my true freshman year. I thought he was Beau Jordan before I got there.
Nice. Classic mix-up of the Beaus.
Yeah, and then clearly I didn't know much about college wrestling, but yeah, I got there my true freshman year, and we've been roommates ever since. So coming on 6 years now, and yeah, definitely one of my closest friends, and we have a lot of similarities just with our faith and our drive and our goals and our personalities. So yeah, he's been someone that I've been able to learn a lot from, and has inspired me to achieve more and seek more, and just become a better version of myself. And so yeah, he's someone that I'm really glad I met coming to Penn State.
That's really special. You know, you don't meet people like that too often. You know,
Yeah,
a person that you're gonna bond with.
exactly.
Um, man, what talk about your relationship with the guys at the NLWC overall? Because you know you spend probably the most time with them out of anybody, right?
Yeah.
Um, what's it like? What's the family environment like at Penn State?
Um, just different, that was one of the main things that I noticed on my visit was, starting from the coaches just being humble and good guys, and loving people. And then that kind of translates down to who they recruit and who ends up committing to Penn State. And so you have that kind of family environment where, I can't really speak for other schools, but I just feel like, it's all people that care about each other. And yeah, we like mess around and joke with each other, but no one's really, you know, um, attacking other people or putting other people down. And we all have our best interests at heart. And
Hmm.
people that want to be great wrestlers and want to be great people as well. So that's something that I've just appreciated, especially traveling away from my family where I don't have that family aspect anymore.
Right.
You kind of get something similar with Penn State and the NLWC. So it's great.
That's really good, and it's it speaks to the coaches there that they're able to build that culture.
Exactly.
Um, in still a relatively short time. It's only been like 10 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I came in, I think they were just still transitioning over from the past generation, but
Mm.
past few years I've been here, it's even transitioned more into just a great culture that they've created.
It's pretty fantastic. It's pretty fantastic what they've done. Um, did you look at any other colleges? Did any other colleges recruit you or anything?
Yeah, I had top five that I was gonna visit that recruited me. Um, the Jersey schools, obviously Rutgers and Rider, and then I was gonna visit some other, I think NC State and UNC and a couple other schools, but I visited the Jersey schools, and then I went to Penn State, and then after I came back from Penn State, I just committed, and I didn't really take my other four or whatever visits because it just felt perfect, and
Yeah,
didn't see anything else.
that's really special. That's really
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, okay, hey, back to you as a high school wrestler.
Yeah.
Um, what was the first big tournament you ever wrestled in?
The first big tournament.
Like a big tournament. Did you
Um,
did you do those?
no, probably the state. Actually, no, I went. My first national tournament was Super 32s going into my senior year of high school. That was my first big tournament, uh,
Mm.
and I think I went like 3-2. I lost like a close match. Um, in the quarters or something. I don't even remember because that was like my first national tournament. I was gonna like, all right, let's see how this goes, and then lost a close one. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna go focus on winning states, and then the state tournament in Jersey my senior year was probably the biggest one I wrestled throughout high school.
Mm. Hey, talk about your mentality going into that state tournament for the first time. It's your second big tournament of your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that, and then talk about like how does that compare to going into the NCAA tournament for the first time in your life?
Yeah, I mean the states. I hadn't been there before, so it was my first time qualifying, and I just kind of decided that previous year, as I said earlier about walking off the mat, that last match, I just decided in my head I was gonna, win the states the following year and put everything I could into it in preparation. And so, showing up to that arena in Atlantic City, um, I wasn't really starstruck, but it was just something I hadn't seen before. So I was like, this is awesome, and I don't really know how I'm gonna do it, but I have faith in myself that I'm gonna make it happen and win it. And the first match I had, the first seed, I was like one of the last seeds, and I majored that kid, and that kind of just started me off on my run and gave me the
Oh,
confidence to go on. And yeah, it was very similar to my nationals experience. hadn't been there before, first time qualifier, and didn't really care and knew that I put in the work and I was going to find a way to achieve my goal, as you know, regardless of what other people thought, and went down a similar way.
Mm. Was college wrestling like was it different than you expected it to be?
Um, no, it was pretty spot on. I mean, I didn't really have any ideas of it before because
Right.
no one in my family had. My older brother wrestled at Rutgers for a little bit, so I had a little bit of a idea of that, I guess. But yeah, other than that, no one really wrestled at a high level. So I just knew it was going to be hard and it was going to take a lot of dedication and hard work, and that's exactly what it was. So I kind of had an open mind going in.
So it you didn't really have a lot of preconceived ideas or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is sick. Let's go work on it.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Hey, man, a lot of little. I'll keep going backwards a little bit, but talk about another guy we had on the podcast, Mike Mall. Mike Mall. He came on and talked to my boy Sam.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. Talk about Rhino Wrestling Club and what that was like.
Yeah, I mean, that was huge for my development. Like I said, in my town, we didn't have much, and we were doing the best we could with what we had. And but it came to a point where I wanted to get better and had to travel out of town. So I would travel to Ronald Wrestling, about 45 minutes away from my house, every day in the summer and in season, a couple days a week. And that's kind of where I made my jumps with Coach Mike. And he kind of made me transition from this stiff meathead to someone that can have some finesse and move and learn some technique. And so in season, I'd show up after practice, and he'd put the phone in the corner of the room, and we just go do a private, which was basically just us wrestling live for an hour straight. And then it came to a point where we stopped doing that because I started getting a little bigger and a little better. But yeah, if it wasn't for Coach Mike and Rhino Wrestling, there's no way I would have been able to, reach the level I reached at high school, and then helped me transition over to college.
That's really cool. And at that time, so I know he started it, if I remember correctly, it was in like an upstairs room or something. Was it back then? Is that where you were?
I wasn't in that. I don't know if I was in that OG one, but the one we were in was, I liked it because it was kind of like a beat down warehouse. Like there was no drywall in the ceiling or anything, and we'd put the garage door open and in the summer and just scrap it out. So it was pretty run down, but it was awesome. Like we would just, I like those rundown places where you just come in and and I also like, the newer nice ones where you come in and get after it too, but they both have their pros and cons. But yeah, that was a big part of my my high school career for sure.
Man, took you from a stiff meathead to a slick meathead.
Exactly.
Just taking you over.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay. Here's a question, kind of a difficult question, but there's been multiple times in your wrestling career where you've been the underdog, like a big underdog sometimes, like Colin Moore or even against Gable last year. Like, how do you prepare for a match mentally when other people may be counting you out? Maybe they're like, hey, dude, you don't have a shot. How do you prepare for that?
It's really just relying on what I had been doing leading up to that. So if I hadn't been doing the right things in and out of the room, then it's something that could, crush me mentally, and where I could go out and not perform well, and the pressure would get to me, and I would listen to what other people are saying. But because I train so hard and prepare so well and try to do everything right in training and preparation and in and out of the room, it's just relying on that and trusting myself and believing in myself, so that when I go out there, it's just a testament to what I do in preparation. So I'm not going to just rise to the occasion and become someone I'm not. I'm just going to sink to the level of my training and what I've been doing leading up to that moment. So I just kind of block everyone else out and trust myself and believe in myself and listen to those that truly know me and believe in me and go do my thing.
That's awesome. Last season, did you pay attention to any of the rankings or stuff like that? Have you done that? Do you pay attention to brackets and rankings and seedings?
Yeah, they pop up here and there, and I'll see them, but it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I know I'm ranked number one in the world at all times in my mind, so it doesn't really matter otherwise.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in your interview, the same interview that I'm going back to, with Justin Bash. Bashmania. You mentioned several times that, like, after your injuries and these setbacks, like not making the starting lineup, you would have conversations with your dad and with your grandpa and stuff like that. Could you talk about your relationship with your family and your dad in particular?
Yeah, it's I'm very close with my family, and that's everything to me. So whenever I'm going through good times, bad times, or whatever, I'm always relying on their help and support and love. And that was one of the hardest things about coming to Penn State was, leaving them, even though I'm only a few hours away, but it felt like I was, going to another country when I first left. And so they mean the world to me. And in terms of my father, he's just, my role model and who I rely on and have deep conversations with when, I need to. Things are not going right. And that's kind of what helped me over the past few years when I met adversity is, let's get down to the bottom of it and what really matters and how we're going to improve and move on from there. And he's been, just kind of the rock through all this craziness. So can't really do it without them.
That's really cool. That's really cool that you're able to, have such a deep relationship. Because I know there's a lot of people who can't say the same, right?
Yeah.
Who are not as blessed as you are, with having a relationship with their father. So that's very cool that you're able to identify that and just be grateful for it.
Yep.
Man. So you got injured this year, dropped out of college almost immediately. What was that decision about? I thought you loved school and just going to class all the time.
When you've been in it for 5 years, going your 6th year, it gets a little old. But
a little old.
I liked my major was psychology, and I liked that, and I enjoyed my courses. And I was just doing I graduated last May, and I was just doing a double major this year to stay eligible. So once I decided I was done with college wrestling, that there was really no reason to stay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Man, has leaving college changed anything about the way you train?
No, people always ask me how it is not taking classes anymore and having more free time, but it's pretty much the same. I lived this life I took off a year from college back in 2016 and lived this life of, full-time training. So I had a good idea of what it was, and it's a very similar schedule to what I've been used to. It's just, wake up in the morning, train, come back, eat, get ready for practice, come back. And then when I would do homework, usually now, I like to do my own reading and writing and research. So same type of thing. I just have a little more independence and control on my self-improvement and self-growth.
So you do a lot of reading, and you said, and I know that you said in the interview beforehand that you listen to podcasts and stuff. What kind of things do you put in your mind, in your off time and stuff like that?
Yeah, just anything that is going to improve my mind, body, or spirit is what I focus on. So I like to read, religious books and stuff that can help me with my faith, as well as, self-improvement books or biographies or autobiographies or and then podcasts. There's a lot of great podcasts out there. Like what's that one called? Home Mat Advantage.
Home Mat Advantage podcast. Yeah, that was pretty good.
I like, a lot of the athletes have podcasts now and stuff like that and YouTube videos. So there's plenty of information out there that you could use to, just improve yourself. And I try to, expose myself to a lot of it.
How do you have a mentality of not being satisfied where you are now in your personal journey, but also your wrestling career? How do you keep yourself motivated?
It's a good question. I think a lot of the most successful people have that appreciation for what they've done, but they're never really satisfied and are always on to the next thing. I think that's kind of where the satisfaction is having a purpose and a drive, something to work towards. So right after I won the nationals, it was a week or so of appreciating it and celebrating it and reflecting on the work and dedication that went into achieving it. And then that kind of fades away and it's on to the next thing and chasing the next goal and trying to become better. So I think that's just what life's about, is always trying to become better and improve and glorify God and inspire people throughout it. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, little bit of a shift here real quick. So what do you like better, wrestling, freestyle or folk style?
I have an appreciation for both, but freestyle fits my style better, I think. I wrestled in my first freestyle tournament when I made the junior world team. So I was just doubling dudes. And
that was your first one ever?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so I was just doubling guys and not really knowing how I was scoring so many points, but it was working out for me. So I think my style fits it a little better.
What weight class were you at?
I was 96 kilos, so it was like 211.
211. What do you walk around at now?
I'm about 240 right now.
240, and what's your optimum weight that you're trying to get towards?
240 is where I feel comfortable now.
Yeah,
so I'm feeling pretty solid right here.
So you say freestyle works better for you. Did you train any freestyle like during the summertime at all?
All my past 5 summers have been devoted to freestyle, and I've trained more freestyle definitely over the course of my college career than folk style because of all the injuries I had and the time off. It just worked better for me to train with the NLWC than the college guys, and I was on the team for a little while there as well. So I've trained more freestyle definitely.
What about in high school? Did you train any freestyle then?
No, I didn't know what the heck it was.
You're just like, man, I don't really know what I'm doing, but it'll do.
I actually wrestled at Beat the Streets. That was my first freestyle match, and Coach Mike Mal and my high school coach Kurt Franey were coaching me. I took the guy down, and I went to lace his legs, and I looked over, and Coach Mike was like shaking his head, like freaking out, like just stop, because he would just figure out how to make it work. So I just let go and took it down again.
Nice. You're just like, don't even risk it. Don't even risk it. That's awesome, man. How does your style change for each one? Does it change at all? I mean, like, you weren't doing a ton of turns on top, when you were in college. But has your style pretty much stayed the same? Just let's double leg him for 4 points.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, keep the pace high, get to my attacks, counter his attacks, and
win.
And so pretty much the same.
Yeah. Hey, what are your thoughts at that Kyle Snyder's at the NLWC? What's that like?
Oh, it's awesome. I heard, I was pumped just to, we have a lot of big guys and heavyweights to train with, but anytime we can get someone else even just above 200 and someone of his caliber, it's huge. So then I've been able to just learn a lot from him and be able to train with him and help him get better, and he's helping me get better. So it's perfect.
What about what's his face? Kirk Philippe. He's transferring over too. Has he been in the room at all yet?
Yeah, we were training down at the U.S. Nationals, the senior nationals, and he's up at Penn State now too, and he's the man, and he's another good big body, and yeah, I'm pumped to help him out and see how his career progresses because he can be a monster too.
Oh man, it's got to be one of the best upper weight rooms in the whole country.
Heavyweight you, heavyweight
Dude,
you.
it's pretty great. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Man. I was talking to Coach Eric Thompson not that long ago, and he says he just kicks your butt. What do you have to say about that one?
I think everyone knows. Anyone who knows Thompson knows what the truth is.
Oh.
Sometimes, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
Nice. All right. Okay. So obviously you haven't completed your ultimate goals right now, which is, Olympic gold, world champion, et cetera, et cetera. But looking after the Olympics or this next quad or however long you plan to stay in it, what are your plans for after that?
My plan is to transition over to MMA after this Olympic year and start punching people in the face for money.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Anthony, have you thought at all about what happens if you get punched in the face? Have you thought about that at all?
I haven't thought that far, but people keep bringing that up, so yeah, just thinking about it.
I know several of my friends were very disappointed that you're going to MMA. They're like, man, what if he just gets ugly? What if his face gets broken?
Yeah, I think my mom has the
same fear.
But yeah, I'm gonna train I'm gonna take my time and transition over and learn the different styles and learn how to not get hit before I start going in there to hit people.
Nice. That's the plan. How long have you wanted to fight professionally?
Probably since I got to college, a little bit after that. I just kind of I've always been a fan of MMA, and I've watched UFC and Strikeforce since I was a kid, since the organizations really started to get bigger. But I didn't really realize I wanted to transition over to that until I started to see the wrestlers and athletes have success in it. Like, we see Daniel Cormier and Henry Cejudo and those guys transitioning over and having great success in the sport. And it's kind of just, I like to say, it's just kind of like wrestling on steroids. So I love the training and the competition aspect of wrestling and the everything that goes into it, the preparation, the spotlight, and the MMA world is just kind of all of that times 10. So I'm excited to transition over and have new goals and new styles and just kind of experience more of what I love.
Man, how long do you plan to stay in MMA? Till you die? Forever and ever?
Probably till I don't think I'm gonna fight. I mean, 10 years maybe, not past like 37, 38 when I have plenty of money and all the titles I've wanted to win and
nice
fired enough people and done enough good things and just don't really have it in me anymore. But as of right now, I feel like I'm gonna compete for a long time.
Oh, that's pretty fantastic. So we know that you love wrestling, you love fighting, you love combat. It's a really special thing to have, a desire to how do you say it? I know Tom or one of the Brands brothers had said that wrestling is a battle of wills. That's what it is, and you clearly have a desire to go to battle of wills, and to impose your will on someone else's. You don't see that too often. It's really cool. But besides that, what other things do you like to do? What other hobbies do you have? What are you interested in?
I'm not not too interesting. I'm a pretty simple guy.
Hey, that's okay. That's just fine too.
He gets so angry because he'll ask me to do things, and I'm just like, nah, I'm good. It's,
Man,
yeah, I like to, like, as I said, I like to focus on a lot of self improvement and stuff like that. Obviously, my faith is a big part of my life, and we go to the same church. So for that, and outside of wrestling and training and that stuff, I really don't do too much. I'm like to be, completely focused on what I'm doing and what my goals are. And if I feel like I need to relax or let go, I'll watch a great movie. I low key like love movies, so
oh, ooh, all right. What's your favorite movie, Anthony Cassar?
uh, I'll rewatch The Notebook or something like that. And yeah, something like that. Just kind of chill out, and doesn't
Nice.
doesn't take much to interest me.
Man, okay, well, all right. Do you at least have like a favorite food?
Oh yeah, I love wings.
Yeah, wings?
Yeah, that's my
Like
favorite food.
super spicy, or how do you
No,
how do you like to make your wings?
I just like straight up like buffalo and barbecue, and
Mm,
I love Buffalo Wild Wings. Like whenever I'm back home, me and my brothers will go out and watch the fights there. So that's my spot of choice.
wings are pretty delicious.
Yeah.
Um, man. Okay. So I got a couple last questions here.
Sure.
Um, but one of my friends wants to know how do you get your muscles so big? What's your secret? Because I
Uh,
heard it's a lot of cardio. That's what Beau Nikhil told me.
yeah, a lot of running, a lot of swimming, and a lot of carbs apparently.
Man, that's funny. Okay, Anthony. Hey, I really appreciate you having you on. But before you go, are there any last thoughts that you would like to leave our listeners with? Anything, any little pearls or nuggets?
Pearls or nuggets? I would just say, what I'm trying to do is just trying to become a better version of myself uh, every day, and mind, body, and spirit. And I think that's all we can do as people is just try to improve daily and become the best version of ourselves. And whether that's through sports or business or with our faith or anything else, I think that's kind of the best that we can do. And what we've been put on this earth to do is be better and inspire others and
Mm,
give glory to God through that. So that's pretty much all I got.
mm. Anthony, thanks for coming on, dude. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's pretty cool.
I
It's
thought you guys were too big time for me, so I'm glad
oh yo,
you got me on and give some hard time to your boy Sam.
yeah, I will. Man, no. Ever since I don't know if I've told you this, but the first time you ever, for those who don't know, Anthony and I go to the same church. The first time you ever came to church, you walked in, and I didn't even know who the heck you were. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know who you were, but it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But like I was like, he is a wrestler. That guy right there is a wrestler. I know he's a wrestler. And then like dad, my dad,
Yeah.
he just came. He like sprinted to me after church. He's like, Jude, that's Anthony Cassar. He's here. He's going to our church. And I'm like, all right, man. Who is that? And it was great. It was really cool. It was cool that I've been able to get to know you a little bit. It's cool that you tolerate my dad and
That guy.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I appreciate you guys got a great thing going here and keep it up. Hopefully I'll come back on sometime later.
Yeah, dude. Hey, after maybe after Tokyo, huh?
Do it.
Get you back on.
Plan.
All right, man. Hey, I'll let you go, but thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right,
You
bro.
rock.
That's good.
All right, see ya.
See ya.